Hello, everyone, and welcome to another amazing episode of the Healed and Cash Flowing podcast show. I am your hostess, Catherine Storing, Coach Kat, and I am tickle excited about having a beautiful, down to earth conversation with the lovely Becca Shaw. We just had the pre show conversation, and I just know we're going to have an amazing time. Hey, Becca, how are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting.
Oh my God, yes, it is. So, for those that for some reason don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Absolutely. So I was always a very magical child. I was always that weird kid, always up with the fairies, always looking up at the stars. So of course I was going to get into healing, and so I do very diverse different healing modalities. I do things like tarot cards and oracle decks and other sort of fortune telling, for want of a better word. And my absolute favorite right now is something called the Akashic Records, which I'm very excited to be talking to you and your listeners about today. Yeah, I mean, we're going to go into it, but it's absolutely amazing. So yeah, so my whole thing is I've always wanted to help people, whether that's healing or empowering, and especially with the Akashic Records, it's about very much the holistic. It's helping with the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, and the physical all in one. And that's pretty much me in a very condensed nutshell.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And as you were talking, I wrote down that you were a magical child. And I think many of us have that in common, that growing up, we were always, I would I'll say for myself, I was like a little odd, a little different, a little like, I don't know, esoteric and have my own ideas. And it took me a while to kind of get comfortable with my awkwardness. I don't know if you had a face like that.
Yeah, like I kind of always owned it, I guess. I did have trouble like at school, for example, but at the same time, I did kind of say, well, that's me. That's what I enjoy. I don't want to be with the popular kids. I want to be with the odd children at school because they're the interesting ones. They're the ones you can have fun with, right? So it never really bothered me too much. Like there were days, obviously, but once I left school, once I was an adult, um, I just thought, well, it's just me, right? Like I'm going to be learning and growing. I'm not the same person that I was as a child or even as a young adult. I'm completely different, but I still have that same essence of oddness and the weird person, but I've kind of owned it a bit more now. So especially now that a lot more people are waking up to the spiritual side of everything, um, that's really, really helpful because they're seeing me and I'm not intimidating. I'm just sort of like I just know things, right? So they latch on to me, like help me, guide me. Which way do you think I should go? What do you think I should be looking at right now? And I sort of already have um that aura of yes, like the spiritual stuff's nothing to be afraid of. Let me guide you, let me take you there. And yeah, so it's just a part of me. It's always been a part of me. Yeah, it's just I couldn't imagine me being something else, right? I couldn't imagine being very scientific and very logical and, you know, magic not existing. That's a sad world for me.
Yeah, yeah. I love that you always owned it, and I love the fact that you always wanted to help people. I'm finding that most of the healers, if not all the healers that I have on the show and that I come in contact with, that is the common theme that we have is how do we make the world a better place? And how do we demystify? Like for me, it's sound healing. And I just came back from an amazing, very intense retreat for sound healing and cranial sacral, which is very scientific, right? But it meets so well with the science and the magic of sound and how sound is magical, but it's medicine, literally a study, and it's not as woo woo as so many people think. So I have um, the task, I guess, to just demystify it and show these are just instruments. They are gonna make you feel better. They are gonna help you drop into an amazing state and really reconnect with yourself and your calling. So I'm glad that you're doing this. So for those that don't know anything about, they're like, what would you say, Akashic? What is Akashic Records?
Okay, so nice and simply, imagine that every single person has their very own library on like a spiritual plane, and you have full access. It didn't used to be that way. It used to just be for ascended masters and very, very spiritual gurus and people like that. But this day and age, absolutely everybody, whether they're a complete atheist or not, they can go to their records now. And so the idea is that because you have access to this library, you can go up there and your guides are there. Sometimes you also have things like your ancestors or other entities, for want of a better word, like angels that aren't necessarily yours, but they're coming in to help you. People like that can just kind of pop in as well and help, like other beings and things. You're sort of more into aliens as well, like maybe they're popping in. Everybody's sort of there that wants to help you. And so your guides, they are like the librarians. They're the ones that help you navigate because your soul is infinite. Like it literally holds everything that you've ever done, ever could do, this life, past lives, future lives, everything. And so, if you have a block or a fear or a limiting belief, yes, that could be something from this life. It could also be something from a past life or many lives that you keep carrying over. And so the idea is that you go up, you ask your question, like, what do I need to do about this? Or why do I feel this way? Or and this could be about relationships, this could be about money, this could be about your health, career, anything you want. And you're either shown or told, you're taken to past lives, you're taken to future selves. It's so infinite up there. And within just one session, you can literally find out the root cause of something, find out the lesson from it, find out if you want to release it or if you need to keep it a little bit longer. If you want to release it, you can release it in that session. You can heal from it in that session. And then literally from then, either instantly or up to a maximum of a couple of weeks, it starts to integrate into your physical, into your everyday life, and you really notice a difference. And that's just one session or one trip by yourself into the records. And it's the most amazing tool, which you can probably tell.
That's incredible. You said so many incredible things. So it's a library of everything that has to do with you, and
Yes.
that's a lot. So that right there is a lot. And we have in just this lifetime, we have done so much already. Like I'm 49 years old and I've done a lot of things. And thinking about my ancestors and how our ancestors are in us and we were in them, right? So there's essences that keep having passed down that are influencing what we do today. So someone is listening or watching this and they're like, okay, Becca, this is freaking me out a little bit. How can they're entrepreneurs, and like you say, you can ask them questions. How practical can you do that by yourself, or do you need somebody that knows how to delve into the library to be able to help them go and get some answers?
All of the above. And it really is personal preference. And I kind of always explain it like, how do you like to meditate? Do you like to meditate by yourself? Do you like to listen to guided meditations on like YouTube and things like that? Or do you like to go and join a group? Or do you like to have a teacher there telling you how to meditate? How do you like to do that? And it's personal preference. It might even be different meditations you prefer to do it in different ways, right? So with the records, it's exactly the same. Obviously, if you're going to be doing it by yourself, you need to do a bit of research, maybe ask some people that already know how to do it, or watch some videos, read some books. But it's nice and easy because it is your own energy. So if you're used to doing meditation or even higher up things like astral projection or all those kind of things, you can absolutely do it with ease. Other people, they might need a little bit of practice first, maybe even listen to some guided meditations just to get their idea of the energy of it. A lot of my clients, I will really encourage even after the first session, especially if I see that they're really good at it, I will really encourage them to go in for themselves and by themselves. And so I have a lot of clients that they will keep coming back to me for the big questions, or they've gone in and they're worried they're making it up, so they're like, can we just go in and you just tell me what you see, and I want a second opinion, right? But for the majority of the time they're doing it for themselves because it's theirs, it's their guides, it's their soul, it's their mission, right? And so I'm literally just along for the ride, as a coach or a practitioner. But yeah, like it's so it really is just personal preference, and you can do a couple of different ones and see which ones suit you. But definitely, if you're not used to something like meditation or something like that, I would say let's definitely either go to somebody like myself or have a little go on like some YouTube guided meditations or something, and just so that you understand the energy, the process, and then from there you can start to access it for yourself. And then once you're in there, you can ask your guides, is there a better way that I can be doing this? Is there a better technique that you want me to try out with this to help me access it a lot better?
Makes sense. Wow, that's so powerful. So it's almost you were talking, and I was thinking about our intuition. So I'm very
Mm.
intuitive, and there were times that I wasn't sure, and then I'm like, I'm gonna test it to see if this is real. So I would know something, and I'm like, you know what? I'm supposed to bring this with me. There's no reason for me to bring it, but I know I'm supposed to bring it. I'm like, if it's real, I'm gonna leave it. It's gonna be an inconvenience, but I'm gonna leave it. And then that way, when I get there and I need it, I'm gonna be like, whoa. So I was right. So I wonder if you ever give people a guideline like test yourself just to double check that you're doing the right thing, because most of the time we do know what we need to do, or we need to know how to ask it or how to approach it.
Yeah, and with the records, you can't really ask a wrong question. So you can go up and ask something, and usually your guides will absolutely answer the question for you. Sometimes, though, they do just say, that's not important right now. We actually want you to come deal with something else. So just that shows you that you're not making it up, right? Like that you're not getting the answer that you want. And a lot of people, they'll go in and yeah, they won't get the answer that they really want or they thought they were going to get, or they think that they have a block from when they were like 9 years old and it was actually from when they were 2 years old or from another life or something, and they never would have thought that, they never would have said that that was the reason, but then they go in and so they realize then that they're not making it up, that it is something else is talking to them or sending them the messages and things like that. Or if you don't believe in the external factors, you could just think of it as your subconscious. I mean, I have atheists go in and, they just think it's their subconscious because they obviously don't think in, like, believe in gods or angels or guides or anything like that, right? So they just think it's a psychological thing that they're doing, and that's absolutely fine. And yeah, you can literally just go in and ask your questions and you get given your answers. And you don't need to have that intuition
Mm.
to use it. It helps, especially with the trusting of what's coming up. And you can even go into the Akashic Records to do things like enhancing your intuition. So you can go in and have like a, for want of a better word, a healing session on your third eye or on your sacral or whichever way you get your intuition, and you can actually get an enhancement on that. Very, very quickly as well. It could also be that your intuition was left in a past life because perhaps you were very psychic or something, or intuitive with people's illnesses and things, and someone screamed witch, and you were like, "Oh, I'm not going to do that anymore." So maybe you feel that you are intuitive, but you just can't get there. You just can't, you're not 100%, right? So you can go into the records, you can go to that past life, you can find out what happened with that. You can talk to your past life self and you can help them heal from that and then recall all of your intuition back to you. So then you're actually going about your everyday life, and suddenly it's like you've turned on the switch and you're at 100%. And it's just beautiful to see all of these different ways that people interact with their intuition, for sure.
Oh my God, that is so good. So I was thinking as you were talking, so that's with intuition, and we're talking to healers that want to help more people. And I was saying this past weekend, I cannot think of anybody else that should be abundant than healers, because when we
Yeah.
are abundant, we're gonna share and our resources are gonna trickle down to the right places, right? So, and you, as you probably know, many healers have an issue with, they're either afraid of money, or they think money, have, we have all heard, is the root of all evil, or God will provide, take almost take this vow of poverty, and it's almost like they're proud of it, like, oh my God, I have everything I need. But it's like, yeah, but you're not excelling at the level that you could. You're not reaching the number of people at the level that you could, because you're limited by not having the resources that you need for your everyday life, or you don't have the resources to invest in your practice or your business to be able to reach more people. So for someone listening or watching, and they're thinking, how would Akashic Records help me see how I am best suited to pursue my business, the way that I want to help people?
Well, that's actually where it gets really interesting. So everybody has their very own records, like I said, but your business also has its very own records separate to you.
Mm,
So
wow.
whether your business right now is just an idea in your head, whether you've just started, maybe you've had your business for 50 years, it has its very own records. So for business people, entrepreneurs especially, I will take them either into their own records or their business records, or we will do both. And so for your personal ones, you're going to go in and you're going to ask things like, what is my block with money? What is my block with, self-belief, or, all of this kind of stuff that you personally are hindering your business. And then you can go into your business records and you can ask things about your ideal client, about marketing, about whether it should be purely online, or if you need to go and have a shop or a storefront kind of thing. You can ask more the business side of stuff in your business records, because there they have their very own guides in there. So those guides are separate from your guides. It's your business guides. Likewise, if you have more than one business, if you're a serial entrepreneur and you have maybe 5 businesses, you have 5 business records as well to go into. So each business has a different records building. And you see it like a building. And so a lot of people, when they're coming to me, first off, for business record stuff, they'll see their own building and be like, oh, it's a pretty castle, or it's a cottage. It's really welcoming and beautiful and lovely. And a lot of the time, if they're coming to me for their business, it's because their business is neglected in some way. So their business building is like a government building and it's all like falling apart, or it's a ruined castle, or it's something horrible. I don't want to go in there. It looks horrible. So they and I'm saying, well, that's why, because you've neglected your business, and even just going in once and doing some stuff in the business records, a lot of the time will come out and they'll say, oh, the building's changed. It's either, they've got scaffolding on there and they're repairing it a bit, or, they've painted it and it's looking a bit nicer than just the concrete, or you know what? It's changed from this government building into a castle, right? Maybe not a huge one yet, but it's changing. I can see it manifesting before my eyes. So yeah, it just is. It gets so very interesting when you can combine both your business and your personal ones, because maybe you're doing all the right things, your business is doing all the right things, but you're not gelling together, you're not aligned. So then we find out how you can align both of those together to bring forth the best that your business can be.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And then I was wondering, could a business be trying to survive or be passed down from generation to generation, like waiting for the right member of the family to do it the right way, and then they continue to have the same blind spot, or they're not aligning?
That's so interesting. I've never had that, but absolutely. Yeah, because at the moment I'm doing a lot of stuff with clients with generational stuff, with ancestral work, even if they're coming in for something that doesn't seem like it's that, it seems that ancestral problems are popping up for them and they have to do a whole cleansing of the line in some way or some kind of connection with the ancestors. So absolutely, you could have, especially a family business that is passed down, would have the energy of every ancestor that was in that. And because it has its very own entity, that's obviously going to keep growing and it's going to mix with all the energy that was put into it by all the different family members, even the ones that aren't the owners of it, but it's like the spouse of or
Yeah.
a worker in it. They're all those energies are going to mix into it and create something. So that's a really interesting thing that I never really thought about, but I don't know why I never thought about it that way. But yes, absolutely. It could literally be waiting for you kind of thing to take over the family business because you're the chosen one, you're the one that's going to lift it up and really make it shine. 'Cause especially with all of the ancestor stuff I'm doing, it's very much seems like it's the time right now for the people in that line that are alive today are the ones that are the oath breakers, the curse breakers, for want of like, not like an actual curse necessarily, but like, the ones that end
The
the
cycle.
abuse
Yeah, the
or the cycles.
cycle breaker.
Exactly. They're the ones that are literally here right now. And a lot of people that are alive today are the literally tasked with doing that. Along with all the other things in your soul contract, you have this thing where you have to cleanse your line, you have to send healing to it, and then it's literally trickling down into the generations after you. And that's such a fascinating thing. So yeah, I'm going to be looking out for that now for trying to
Yeah, I
find
was
clients now with family businesses and I want to look into that for sure.
Yeah, I was thinking specifically like the way you were talking is like you almost need like a business limpia. You need a business cleansing where you're like, okay, we need to remove all this stuff, especially if you look back at a family that has tried to have businesses and the businesses don't succeed. And then you see it from the grandfather to the father to the child. And I cannot help to think there is something generational there that has to be broken and or untied so finally, the final or the current generation can be successful, and that will almost be like redeeming for all the other past generations, right?
Yeah, yeah, there would definitely be like a celebration from
Yeah.
like all of your ancestors. It would just be, it would literally trickle down into their souls. So if you believe in reincarnation, then when they've been reincarnated, that's now cleansed for them. They wouldn't have to go into their own record to sort that out because you've done it for them, right?
Yeah.
With their permission. Obviously, you're not doing it against anyone's permission, but you're actually helping other souls by doing this ancestral work. So that's fascinating.
It is fascinating, and I wonder, have you put something together, or can you recommend any resources for people that are brand new to Akashic Records? Like, where should they go first? Should they read a book? Should they find a video? Should they find who created or who gave the name Akashic Records to Akashic Records?
So Akashic Records has always been around, but it wasn't very well known. Like I said before, it was only really the high up mystics and the ascended master type people like Jesus and Buddha and all of these people would have access before. Now it's literally open to everybody. So just like I said with before at the beginning about how do you like to meditate, it's the same kind of thing. Like, do you need a teacher? Because if you do, then you can do a few sessions or just do some like discovery calls with people like myself and actually ask questions of how to do it. You can learn to do it yourself or actually take a course and do it. Even if you're not going to do it for clients, you can take the courses and because you need to have that sort of wisdom and that learning really imparted onto you. So perhaps you need to be like that, where you're literally instructed by somebody, this is how you do it, and it's sort of an in-person back and forth. If you're more of a reader, even if it's audiobooks over paper, there are so many books out there. Linda Howe, Hwoe, she is probably the best one for beginners because there's like two books and they kind of really explain it a little bit easier. It's still quite complicated, but they do explain for people that really just want to get into understanding, the ins and outs of it all. And from there, then you can make it your own. You don't have to follow the way that she does it necessarily. I'm absolutely sure if you just type into YouTube, there will be hundreds of people tell you what they do and how they do it because there's so many different ways of doing it. Many practitioners they'll do it more like a psychic medium type thing where I'll say, okay, Kat, I'm in your records and this is what I see and what's your question? Okay, the guides are telling me this, this, and this. So I mean, perhaps those aren't the kind of people that you would want to go to if you want to learn to do it for yourself. But there's a few people like myself that are called coaches. So my job is that I take you into your records. So my whole thing is to encourage you and get your intuition light on. And so if you're struggling, okay, that's fine. You know, imagine this instead and, imagine that and what colors do you see and what sounds do you hear? And I'm really encouraging you. And even if I know the answer, my job isn't to blurt it out to you. My job is to get you to ask and to get you to, and if you don't know, I've got it written down or I tell it to you before or after it's all happening. But the idea is that you say it because if I tell you, oh, you're in a really bad relationship, you need to leave because it's really toxic, and you say, okay, and maybe you probably don't do it, right? But if you go in and you say, oh my gosh, I understand. I see I'm in this really toxic relationship. I really need to leave it because this, and this, and I'm being shown this and I'm being told this. You've said it out loud. You've come to that realization for yourself. No one's told you to do it. So you're more likely to end that relationship because you've come to that understanding. So
Yeah.
I've just gone off on a bit of a tangent
No,
there.
no, no. That was really interesting, and I love how I wanted to ask you a little deeper, and you did give me a name, which I like. I think I have read her book, Linda Howe,
Yeah.
but I love the fact and the distinction of an Akashic Records person or an Akashic Records coach, which is what you are. I was wondering if you can share with us what is your personal experience with your personal or your business Akashic Records, and how they have helped you.
Well, it's infinite, right? So, I mean, they're always there when I need them for any kind of guidance. And there's nothing too silly to ask. There's nothing too big to ask, right? And I've been doing it so long that I can literally just go in and out, right? Like I don't need to do all the meditation at the beginning and the grounding and this and that and spend 20 minutes preparing and visualizing and stuff, which is what I do with my clients. I can just pop up there and say, hi everyone. Um, just on a sort of personal note so people don't think that I'm this wonderful no flaw person. I actually went in years ago and I asked a question and they told me an answer and then it didn't come true because it was a test thing that and I was really really angry at my guides for many years and it was terrible because I was still an Akashic Records coach. I was still taking people into their records. I refused to go into mine for years, right? And so I was getting literally clients in their session saying, oh, and there's a message here for you, Becca. And I'm like, oh gosh.
Oh, snap.
Because they're paid clients. And I was just thinking, no, I
I'm
don't
so
want to hear it. I don't care what you have to say right now. I really held a grudge. So I was helping a lot of people. I was in other people's records. I was in the energy, which is such a fantastic energy. And you can't really describe it. You just know it once you've been in it. But so I was in this energy and I loved it. I absolutely loved being in other people's records, but I wouldn't go into my own. And so it was many, many years. And then it got to the point where I was like, I don't want to go up because then I have to, not I have to apologize, but it has to be this whole thing.
Yeah.
So then that put me off. Anyway, very long story short. So I ended up going to kin and your guides love you unconditionally. There's nothing that you can do that's wrong. If they tell you something and you don't do it, they're not going to give you bad luck. They're not going to do what I did and ignore you for years, They're not going to do any of that. They're just like, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back. Like we've missed you, right? Like how can we help you? And let me give you a hug kind of thing. And it was really like sad, but it was almost like if you have an argument with your friend or your family member and you don't talk for years and then you sort of come back and everyone's forgiven everybody, right? And it was just so beautiful. So just to answer your question
Yeah.
in probably not the way that you wanted, it like that's how it helped me. It made me understand that yes, I could still do my job and help other people with the Akashic Records without utilizing my own. And obviously, I didn't tell anybody at the time that I wasn't going into mine. But at the same time, I was never going to get punished from them. They wanted me to understand. They wanted me to learn a lesson from it. And when I did, they were so happy that I came back, and I still hesitate a little bit sometimes with it, but at the same time, I'm like, they just want what's best for me. They want what's going to grow my soul. They want what's going to expand my consciousness and my soul mission and stuff. And it's not always the good stuff that you get. There's some bad stuff as well because you don't know the good if you don't have the bad, right? So yeah, so I know that probably wasn't the kind of answer that you
No,
wanted,
yeah,
but I
yeah.
also wanted to show that it's not always bunny rabbits and rainbows kind of thing. It is the hard stuff too.
Yeah, no, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Thank you so much because I think it humanizes it. It's like it's really from you, like you're an expert, and then that still happened to you, so it can happen. And I think that happens in life where we don't want to accept what is, and then we get stuck in, I wish it was different, but it is not. But you keep saying, yeah, but I wish it was different, but it is not, right? Until you're finally able to surrender and be like, oh, it's not what I want it to be. I don't have to be happy about it. I can accept that it is a fact that it is the way it is, and then maybe you can change it or move on instead of fighting what is. It's just really interesting. So somebody's listening and they're like, "Oh my God, this sounds incredible." And I know you mentioned there's several ways to do it. Would you suggest they listen to themselves and be like, I know how I need to dive deep, or do you see that people benefit from working with someone that can guide them at the beginning or tell them like almost like an overview? Okay, this is Akashic Records 101 and this is where you go and this is how you ask. Like I wonder if there's a benefit to, yes, it's great to learn, but did you get some shortcuts by going in with someone like the first time, first couple times?
Do you think it's helpful to go in with somebody that knows what they're doing? Just because they're able to hold your hand,
Yeah.
right? They're able to tell you, they're able to guide you first off into getting in there. And if you're struggling, they can help you with hints and tips and sort of coax you into being able to fully immerse yourself in the experience. And then once you're in there, um, depending how well you're doing, the coach can either stand back a bit and ask some stuff in the background because we're not just sitting there. If you're taking over, we're hanging out with some other guys and chatting with them, right? So you either do it like that, or if you're struggling, then the coach is there to sort of give you pointers, or if there's something scary or upsetting that's happening in there, the coach can be like, okay, well, let's pause, or do you want to carry on, or do you want to leave it for today? And really just encourage you and make you realize that you don't have to confront anything.
Hmm.
Anything you're being shown in your records at a soul level, you are 100% ready to confront and release and heal from or whatever. But your human side will probably jump in sometimes and say, nope, I'm not going there today, right? Like it's so Absolutely. Even if it's just to know what that energy is, know how to get in there easier than having to read 100 books or watch a load of hours on YouTube. You can just literally go in and see the process of the way that the coach is doing it, ask any questions on how to maybe do it for yourself, and then try it out. Like you can, all you can do is try, right? And it's going to take some time. You might be instant, or it might take a few times before you're comfortable, but you'll understand the energy. You'll know, yes, I'm definitely back where I was with that coach. Likewise, though, you could always just do your research for yourself and then just ask in like a consultation or like a sort of mini session or something, depending on what they do, the coach, am I doing this right? Like, is there a way of making this not an hour long? Like, how can I make it a little bit quicker? Or, like some of my clients, can you just pop in with me and make sure that I'm doing it right? Can you make sure that I'm getting the right messages through, that I'm in the right place, that I'm not misinterpreting something, because I just want to make sure that I'm not going to spend all my money on this beautiful house and it's wrong for me or something, right? So again, it's always personal preference. It's always what you are used to, but I do highly recommend that you go into the energy with someone, even if it's just for a little bit, just so that you understand the beginning process and what it feels like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I think it's probably the responsible thing to do, especially when healers are already very sensitive to begin with. And
Yes.
we tend to just sometimes doubt ourselves. We have the answers, we know where to go, but there's nothing this so beautiful when you can recognize, hey, I have some wounds, I have some trauma that I'm still working through, and it is my preference that I'm supported. Like I've
Yes.
gotten to the point where I say things, oh, I'm feeling a little tender. Can you guide me? Can you hold my hand? And I would have never said that before, but I'm embracing my beautiful inner child, and I'm embracing the fact that sometimes I am feeling tender, and that's a beautiful thing, a place of strength to ask for guidance and help. And I think I did it the other day, and I was proud of myself. I'm like, look at you asking for help. I think it's a beautiful thing. I know you have done a lot of work on this. Is there any resource or anything that you can share with my audience that they can get from you or connect with you?
Connect with me. Yeah. So, well, I mean, on social media, I'm on Facebook and on Instagram. So Instagram is at Holistic Becca, and then Facebook is Ember Healing. And obviously the bios in that goes to like a link tree that can take you to my website, that can take you to the free stuff, that can take you to other places, events, even stuff like that. I also did start up a YouTube channel like 3 months ago, so it's very, very new. But I have got some videos on there about Akashic Records as well. So if people want to take a look over there, I think it's the first one though, so it might be a bit rubbishy. But I will definitely be doing some more Akashic Records stuff in the future. And yeah, so that's a nice way of getting like a little introduction to it too. Likewise, I do free consultations as well, like discovery calls. So if anyone wants to just chat to me about it, I absolutely love talking about the records. I don't know if you could tell, but if they want to just talk to me about it, ask questions and see if it's right for them, because I'm never going to tell people, oh, yes, of course you have to work with me. If they don't like my energy, I can tell them somebody else that would be better suited for them. Or maybe I think, well, probably not because it's so infinite, but if there's another modality that would be better for them and maybe something I don't do, I can recommend some people, or at least the modality that would actually help them better because of their personality or the question that they're actually asking.
Yeah.
But yeah, but then we can go from there. And if they want to work with me, great. And if they just want to get some free information, I will absolutely talk to them about the records. No problem there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic. Do you have anything coming up that you would like to invite our audience?
So I don't really at the moment. There's like some possibilities of stuff coming up before the end of the year. So again, if you go on like the link tree, that will show up there when that happens, but there's no concrete stuff between now and the end of the year. So Unfortunately, no, but there, like I said, there's the YouTube channel if people are interested, or you can just follow it along on social media, and there's always a lot of stuff on there for them too.
Fantastic. We'll make sure
Or
to
just come
put,
talk to me.
yeah, I love that. We're gonna make sure to put all your contact information and all your
Thank you.
socials in the show notes. So to make it easy for them to connect with you and learn more about Akashic Records, because I think um, it would be beautiful to go and see your library. I can only imagine how overwhelming in the best way possible is to see everything that has to do with you. Like what a labor of love to
Yeah,
have the librarians go and say, you matter so much that we have alphabetized and organized and digitized all that is you, and everything is right here and ready for you to access. I think that is such a beautiful gift.
absolutely. And yeah, and they're definitely there just for you. Like they've maybe been with you for lifetimes, or they've just jumped on for this life, but they just stay there with you, and their whole thing is to help you, is to advance you, is to give you the best life possible, and then the best soul advancement, right? So yeah, it is absolutely beautiful energy. And like you said, it's so vast, like you don't even see it all, that it would take lifetimes to walk around your library. So
That is amazing. I'm so excited for people to dive in, to connect with you, and to learn more about their own Akashic records. And for those that are entrepreneurs that dive in into their own business Akashic records and see why things are happening the way they are. I just want to thank you so much for your time, for your generosity with your resources and knowledge. I am excited for my audience to learn more about you and hopefully use the Akashic records to grow themselves and their business.
thank you so much for having me. I really love chatting about this. So thank you so much for allowing me on your show.
My pleasure. You're very lucky. There you have it, guys. This I wanted to keep this conversation as down to earth and simple as possible because I wanted you to really get curious about what Akashic record is and how asking the right questions might be able to help you and sometimes even um, jump through timelines or different hoops that you don't have to. So I definitely encourage you to check out all of Becca's socials so you can connect and learn more about what she does. In the meantime, please know that I love you, that I'm rooting for you, and I'm gonna see you super duper soon.